afternoon, Nicole. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Welcome to Reel in Films. We're going to talk about a great film called A Place in the Field. And I gotta say, it's a great film. Me being having a background of family members that are military background, and seeing how sometimes coming back from your tour or retiring can affect you in many ways. So what inspired you to bring this story to us?
Well, it was brought to me, the script originally from Don DePetta and Corey Ellis and Blusmon Del Vecchio. And I wasn't quite sure how to get into the the scope of the film because I'm not a veteran. I have a grandpa who was a veteran, but what I did was enter through my own trauma. I started speaking to veterans and I was like, oh, we have this kind of shared experience in common. We're all trying to heal. We're all trying to get to the other side, get to the what is it that we're fighting for in this life? Which is truthfully, even like when you go to war, you're like, what am I fighting for? But we partnered with this organization called Folds of Honor, and one of the speakers this past week when I went to see her said, freedom isn't free, and we have to remember that. And I was like, oh man, damn, that was a good one, and we sometimes take for granted the lives that people are giving in order for us to live the life that we have here. So all of that was all encompassing, and me being like, okay, if I can help save one life, I think we did our job. If I can show one person, one veteran, that life is worth living, or going through this journey is worth seeing the joy, it would be worth it.
And how was your experience speaking with these veterans? Because each one has their own different story. Um, how did you implement their stories or their experiences to the character of the film?
Yeah, it's really interesting because some veterans are like, oh, I don't want to be seen like this. I don't want to be seen with PTSD because it affects me in my workplace. People will kind of judge me and think that I'm not capable. And then there's other veterans that are like, no, we need to see this because in order to get to the side where you are even able to work at a place, like you have to kind of go through it. So everyone is so different, and there's this great scope. um, but there's different ways that we tackled it in our film. So Alain Emil is our composer. He's actually Puerto Rican. He's such a badass. And so we were like, okay, Alain, it was like, how do you honor the Latino veterans that we normally traditionally don't really the we have a Latino in our film, Kelvin Delgado, who's an amazing actor. He's also Puerto Rican, actually, and he was in West Side Story. Fun fact. But it was like, okay, we don't normally see a lot of Latinos taking center stage in veteran roles in films, which we should, because 40% of the Latinos are of the veteran community are Latinos. So we used the score. I was like, okay, let's honor our Latino veterans with the score. Let's make it grounded in the guitar, in Cielito Lindo, in different elements. And then we used a friend of mine, Daniel Egbert, who was our military consultant. His story is in the film of the cantaloupe field. That's his personal story, and he allowed us to use it. And when we discovered that, Don DePetta was able to kind of take that and really weave it into the experience of why the friend committed suicide, what he's fighting for. So there was many ways that it's integrated into the film.
So, Nicole, do you had any challenges while making the film?
Yes, many challenges. I'm like, there's so many. like okay, like little tiny ones that people would never imagine. Like, okay, we have to find Afghanistan location in California. That was a huge
Hmm.
challenge. And unfortunately, we were going through an extreme drought at the time, and there was a lot of fires. And we found this location that had recently been burned down. And we're like, oh my God, this is unfortunately Afghanistan. So then that was a miracle. to the melones, the cantaloupes that are on the
Mm-hmm.
field are not like traditional cantaloupes that we eat here. The Afghan cantaloupes are very different. So like our production designer how to paint the cantaloupes and like cut the texture and like make
Okay.
them softer. You know what I mean? Like there's so many challenges that you don't think of, but you want to be like honest and truthful to the story, you know? So we had those kinds of things. And then the car actually broke down, you know? And
Okay.
like all those things, like we were stuck in 110-degree weather in the desert. It was like, oh, Dios mío. It was something after there was a challenge in every single department.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Like usually I get to hear like certain small not small challenges. The most common one would be like COVID, right? That will be the most common one. But I wanted to see if you could describe the film A Place in the Field with one word, what would it be?
Perseverance.
I see it. I see it.
I
I
think
really
it's
do see it.
tough. I think it's interesting. Like I feel like a lot of people tend to look at the pain, but I feel like in my life and with my films, I take baby steps into the next step of a character's life. Like in my other film, My Life Stopped at 15, it's not like a huge arc. And for this girl, she goes into this roller skating rink where she had her first trauma and she puts on roller skates. And to most people, that would be like nothing, like, oh, I'm just going to put on my roller skates, but to her it means the world. And I think it's kind of similar to Gio's character. To him, making it through this journey that he was supposed to take with his best friend, it might be a baby step for most, and I actually think it's a baby step, but for him to do that is like huge. And so recognizing the little wins in life and just continue to persevere despite what's put on you. Yeah, I think that's the story.
That's amazing. Nicole, thank you for giving us the time to talk about A Place in the Field. And everybody that's watching us, go ahead and when it's released, check it out. It's an amazing film. So, Nicole, thank you for giving us the time.
Thank you so much, John.
Bye bye.